Where three roads meet is where it began. A man killed his father, all part of the God's plan. His men could not protect him from the reality so grand. Both men were doomed as soon as they entered the earth, with a haunting curse that came from the sun's birth. This could not be stopped as it was already set in stone. Tragedy would occur after the son took the throne. Where three roads meet is where it began. A man killed his father, all part of God's plan.
So the Sphinx is made up of the body of a lion, the tail of a serpent, and wings of an eagle, and a human body and breasts. And when he solves the riddle of the Sphinx, which is man, he gets his power and his ego and like his right to rule.
And then gets his way through up to the castle.
Okay, so the plague was not a literal disease, but actually the conflict that came with the transition from traditional belief in the gods to faith in human reason.
The crops aren't growing, and like the women are infertile.
It was Tiresias, and this one is like I made him like a wizard almost, because he's like a sage that knows all, and he's blind.
So Tiresias came in with his boy, blind, and just came in and contradicted everything Oedipus said, saying that he was actually the killer.
Because since he knew the prophecy from the gods about like Oedipus.
And this is Oedipus when he's at the top of his kingdom thinking about his relationship to his wife, and then how he may be the killer of Laius, and then he thinks how that may affect him, but he doesn't think too much of it.
Anagnorisis is the moment where Oedipus discovers who he is and what he's done. And right when he discovers it, he says, "Whoa, whoa, it is all plain indeed." From that quote, you can tell like how distraught he is. It's like such an awful thing to understand this.
The crown is crooked because his world isn't perfect as he thinks. And he also carries a knife because he killed his father Laius.
His hand is like near her womb, representing that he came out of there and he went back in.
Oedipus, while he's stabbing his eyes out after he finds Jocasta dead, and yeah.
And then here's Oedipus, and he has bound feet like when he was a baby. And this shows like all throughout his life he has to go on, and he has this horrible like prophecy from the oracle, and he has to live with it. Here is a sign, and it's how he has to make his choices in life, and it's confronting like fate and him making his choices. Here's a road where he's stepping out of the way of a carriage, which he didn't do, and so he killed his father. Throughout the whole play, God is kind of like showing them what's going on, but he never actually like interacts with people. And here's a picture of God with the puppeteer thing, and he's controlling the oracle, which controls Oedipus's life.
There's also a decreased influence of fate, or there wasn't as much of a presence of that in the novel, and that's likely taking into account that it's a modern society that it's set in. But aside from having kind of tarot cards being told, warning him of a not so great future, and then there really isn't that much of a presence of kind of an outside influence predetermining what's going to happen. So that was another really major difference.